Last two games of the season for the Quinnipiac women's basketball team is on the road as they travel up to New York to take on Canisius and Niagara. The first one being against Niagara. The last time these two played, it was a 71-61 game on Quinnipiac's senior day. Taylor Herb was the shining star in that game with 17 points, so we'll see who will look to step up for the Bobcats in this one. The key for Niagara is they're going to need to keep them out of the paint. Force them to shoot threes, because the last time they played, they only shot 3 for 21. They're down behind the three-point line, so they got to make sure they close off those lanes of the paint just like last time and force them to shoot from the perimeter. The second game will be against Canisius. That'll take place this Saturday. They won that one 74-71, so a little bit of a tighter game. QU has to make sure they come out strong in the second half, just like they did in the last time, winning 35-23. Much better second half performance, including holding Canisius to just 7 points in that third quarter. Kerr Haywood stepped up big for the Bobcats as well in that game with 19 points, the leading scorer on the day. One thing that Quinnipiac has to make sure they do in this game is limit Deshae Patterson-Ricks of Canisius. She is a solid scorer for this team, averaging about 14 this year, and she scored 23 against Quinnipiac the first time they played, so they got to make sure they limit her ability to shoot it from beyond the arc. She's great off the pick and roll with a pull-up jumper from the mid-range and from the three-point land, so they got to make sure they limit her and force other players on this Canisius roster to beat the Bobcats. One of the things that the Quinnipiac has to keep in mind is the Michaela Morris factor. She had 17 points against Niagara, 18 points against Canisius. She was the second leading scorer in both of those games. So the Bobcats will have to look for production from other forwards on this roster like Kerr Haywood and Jaden Ward. Haywood has been off the production as of late, but she has shown that she's had those type of performances against a team like Canisius, and also Jaden Ward's production as well, having 2 double-digit scoring performances in her last 4 games, but also really stepping out of the defensive end with 3 steals and 3 blocks against St. Peter's, as well as 4 steals against Marist, which is the top scoring offense in women's basketball for the MAC. So be on the lookout for those 2 players to step up as the Bobcats look to prepare down the line for some big action coming up in this MAC tournament.